this week I connected with a couple of people because I want to get more involved in filmmaking. Because there's a couple of meetup groups that I can practice photography, but I also want to get better with video and film. This particular individual that I was going to support, he's doing like a YouTube channel on helping people learn about filming, and I wanted to ask you about it. Is when I went there to help him out to see what it's all about, it seemed there's just a lot of effort just to put into this small this, I guess, like a short segment. And I wasn't sure if it was because he was very focused on maybe he's more of a perfectionist, but he would do the same. He'd have a script, right? And it'd be like two or three sentences. Like for instance, I forgot the name. There's like certain names you do when you're on set. I think one's called, is it crossover? I'm trying to remember. I wish I had the sheet, but it's different. It's terminology for when you're on set for like a film production. But he would do like 5 takes of the same thing. We were all just helping him for the YouTube channel, and it felt weird because when I helped you out.
Which one? Oh, you're talking about
Good Friends. So in Film Punks, I actually felt like I was a part of the team.
Yeah.
We all had a part to play, and it felt like we were creating something.
You were.
Even when I first started, the first day. But for this one, I felt as if we were just helping him. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And Good Friends, it felt like we were creating a film. We were focused on the film. Everyone was gearing in to create this. But for this particular thing, it felt like it was just him. And I don't know if you ever experienced that, mm-hmm. because I know you've made a couple of films, right? Or you've been a part of a couple of films. Mm-hmm. But it was strange to me.
Didn't enjoy it?
No. Did not enjoy it at all.
Man, this is actually a good topic to talk about. Can we please talk about it? But it's very important because this is kind of what I want to talk about. Basically, when I started out, I started out by going around and helping on everybody's set, generally just PA. And then I worked into, I wanted to be creatively involved somehow. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got into, doing cinematography and screenwriting and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But when it came to, helping out other people's set, I was generally just kind of a PA and set photographer. Mm-hmm. I got to a point where, okay, well, I'm not just generally helping you out, set up stands or lightings or whatever. I kind of want to do some kind of creativity. So set photography I enjoyed because I take pictures of, documenting the production going on, who's involved, what they do, kind of capturing them in their best light, and, then I would share a whole bunch of pictures. I love taking a whole bunch of pictures and just sharing it with the crew and whatnot, and people really appreciated it. There's I can think of a cinematographer or two who is taking just a still from the set photography, and they've used it on their website, and it looks really, it's good work. But I basically only got enjoyment from my creative input. So when I was looking at shots and things like that, or sometimes I just kind of imagine how I would shoot whatever it is they're doing. I'm not on the camera team or whatever. I'm just kind of documenting everything. Mm-hmm. But I would line it up a little differently. I would use a couple different, positions for the lighting or whatever. That's the part I enjoyed because I really didn't make much money doing it. You know what I mean? It was more like a favor and just an opportunity to gain some experience, which is useful. Mm-hmm. But I got to the point where that wasn't what I was looking for anymore, so that's why I didn't do it. Now, a lot of people do go to, film sets just like you, and they help out, and it's an opportunity to learn. But beyond gaining that for themselves, they don't really have much in the way of pay most of the time, and there's really no fulfillment with, the creative, being able to contribute creatively to the project because it's about the director's thing. It's about their project, what they want to do, and you're helping them create their vision. And that I never enjoyed, and I always thought, well, how are you going to have anything that's worth watching coming out of Tampa if pretty much the only passionate person about a project is the writer or director? Everyone else, the lighters, the camera people, everyone else may be doing their job, but if they're not as passionate as director, they're not doing the best job they can be doing. And part of the thing that film punks tried to figure out was like, how do you get the best out of people when you don't have the money to pay them? You know what I mean?
Right.
Do you just make sure that, hey, you have a really good script and everyone really loves the script, and therefore you only bring in the people into the projects who are the most passionate about it? That sounds good at first, but I would argue a lot of people don't realize how not great at screenwriting they are. You know what I mean? Maybe they've got a cool idea, but there's a reason, you may not be doing major motion pictures right now. For me, just to get off of that topic for a second, for me, I've got to be creatively invested. You know what I mean? If I'm not being paid, I've got to be creatively invested. If I'm being paid, that's one thing. And I think that a lot of people can do some of their best work when they're being paid properly. You know what I mean? If your rate is what it is, if you get rated for like whatever your specialty is and you're getting a good rate, you don't have to worry about rushing to some other person's set to make up whatever money you're trying to do. You can just do your job. You can focus on doing your job, and you will do your best work. But if you're getting like $25 and you're working a 16-hour day on somebody's set for something you didn't write, maybe you didn't even read the script.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Another thing that gets me is, all these people who are putting productions together, God bless them, they're able to organize that and stuff. I know how hard that is. But you're putting productions together, and the people who have read the script are you and I'll say most of your actors. A lot of times actors haven't even read the whole script. So how do you trust that people are going to do their best work on a project that you're passionate about if they haven't read your work?
It's funny you say that, because that can be applied, I believe, to all aspects, not just filmmaking, but in life. They say in order to accomplish any goal, you have to have a very clear and detailed vision, or else you're going to go all over the place. And many times when, for instance, you're trying to lead people specifically, the best campaigns, even in war, and also companies, when you can empower people in that vision, show them that they have a place in that vision, and get them passionate about it, then everyone will be gung-ho for it. When you don't, then everyone is focused on their own self-interest. Like you said about the person who's trying to switch from set to set, because I don't think it's also an issue with pay, but it might be an issue with, they didn't read the script. They know they're just supposed to put this line technique, do this, and then once they're done, they got to go somewhere else.
Yeah, if it's not pay, it's just they're there for an IMDb credit, a line on the resume. You know what I mean? But it's like I've had an experience or two where we brought someone in on a Film Punks on the thing, and it's like in the middle of us filming, they were checking their phone about, they were talking about they got to be, they said they were going to be on another set too, and they were going to be like, well, dude, we scheduled you to be working here focused on this. Why isn't your brain and your creative powers focused on this? And it was just one of those situations where we were just shorthanded, so we just brought someone in who just doesn't quite get what we're all about, and it's like for them it's normal. Like, all right, so I'm on this set, but I'm a busy, guy or whatever, and I've got 2-3 other projects that I'm going to be on. And so it's like for us, it's a problem because you're not all here. And then for Film Punks, it's like we want everyone to be contributing creatively. So it's like we don't just want you to set up the light stand. We want you to think about how you're setting it up, how it's going to look on film. And does that look good? Does that can we make it look better? I want everyone to be a part of creating that. And that's just how people think. Locally, that's just how they are, and I don't think it's a good thing.
Well, let's take a step back, because we are interviewing you. I'm curious. What did you do? Let's start from the beginning. What did you do before Film Punks, and how did you tell us a story of how you actually got into filmmaking? Because if I'm correct, you told me I think we spoke a while ago about this when I was helping you and the Tampa Film Network and Film Punks with Good Friends. Because I was curious on how you got involved. I think you also got involved. You originally got involved with some of the original founders of Tampa Film Network, if I'm correct. Mm-hmm. But tell us about the story. What did you do before?
For anything else?
Before you got into before instead of going all the way back to when you were a little child learning how to walk.
Right, of course.
Let's start with before filming and how you actually got into it.
I started off as an actor, like most other people. You know what I mean? I'd known that I wanted to be, involved with movies, since in high school, since taking drama, and figuring out, hey, I got a passion for it. I'm pretty good at it. I could be a movie star. So after high school, I figured out I need some training. I also need to be in L.A., but since I didn't have money to get to L.A., in the meantime, I'll get some training. And, I just went with whatever, place said they trained actors. And then, that for me was John Casablancas. And so,
how did you get into that, if I want to ask?
John Casablancas, I think I went looking for auditions, just straight out of high school. And they were just one of the things where it's like they hold auditions, but it's for like just general to be in their class, right?
Right.
It's not actually for a specific movie that's casting, whatever. Yeah. They have their connections, but they want to get people into their class. So I was one of the people who went to their auditions and found out, well, you could be an actor if you do some professional acting class, or you could also do some runway modeling or whatever. I was just only interested in acting, so I ended up signing up for their acting class.
How did that go?
I enjoyed it. I had a good teacher, fortunately. It's somebody who was also passionate about acting, so it's not like for a lot of people it's just about, getting people into their class and just getting their money. But for me, I happen to have a good teacher. His name, you may Tim Guerreri. He's local in the area. And at the time he was teaching, and they give you like one or two classes to try out, and I just loved his energy. I loved what he had to say. He was obviously passionate. I felt like I had some things to learn. It was expensive, so I basically had a job at the time. It was my first job. I think I was working at a clothing store or whatever. But I was paying like every week or something like $114. I don't quite fully remember, but
every week?
Something like that.
It's almost a rent payment. Oh, actually, that's close to a rent payment.
Yeah, it was expensive for me. Yeah. I had a little space at the time. I wasn't paying rent, so
that helped out.
So basically, I paid for my first acting class, and it was like so many weeks. At the end, you do like a showcase of a scene or whatever it was that we did, and then the class is over, and then you're a graduate. And then you're supposed to do what you were doing before. You look for auditions, and except they are going to help you out with some of their resources too. That turns out to be, the West Shore Mall. They could use a mannequin freeze actor. So you go to one of these stores, you put on, whatever clothing they have, whatever, and you do mannequin posing. You know how those mannequins like just are standing still with the clothes on?
Yeah.
We were the human version of that.
Oh.
So it's like a performance. So I won't say that it's degrading or anything. It was actually kind of fun the first couple times. But basically, you stand in front of a store, you strike different poses, and it basically just grabs people's attention and gets them going in the direction of the store. It's like, that looks like a human mannequin. And they go up and they're like, oh, that is a person. But how are they standing so still? So some of them will sit there and watch you for like a few seconds, and then they'll start to walk away. And, we would just play around because it would just be me, maybe two other people there from class or whatever, actors. And we would take a different pose when they turn around. And it's like a lot of times it's kids. So it's like, As like sometimes you do stuff when only the kids are looking, and the parents, it's like they keep trying to get their parents to look, he's real. So it's like, so it's kind of like you get paid. So
That's
it's
good.
something. You definitely ain't gonna pay rent with it because it's not like steady work. It's kind of like hit and miss here and there. But that, like almost all things in a small Tampa market is kind of like something that could lead to something else. Like maybe you work with somebody else who has a connection to a real job or something, so that's why you do it. But basically what I found out is there are basically no roles for me here. So me, there were roles for people who were young, college age, high school age, or whatever. But when you go into like the breakdowns of casting or whatever, whoever's doing their casting, right, and they got a breakdown for character, they would put what they want, Caucasian, Jamaican, whatever they want, you know what I mean? And it's always like, man, when is there gonna be something that's right for me? And when there is, it's you and every other person who looks just like you going for it. It doesn't pay. It's a student project, and what are you going to do? So that's how I got into writing. So I started thinking, I still can't get to LA. I ain't making any money here. It's expensive out in LA. It's not like Tampa. And it's like, the fuck am I doing? Like, how am I going to get somewhere? I'm not 18 anymore. I'm 20. Yeah, I've taken a professional acting class. I can say I'm a professional actor. I'm not like other people. I'm trained. But I'm not working. So I went to a different class, an acting class. And while I was in the acting class, I really started to work on screenwriting. So I started to put in my head, I'm going to try and make some kind of short film project on my own here. And I felt like everyone feels like that I have a particular talent, particular creative ability, and I'm going to be noticed because my story is just that good, that unique, whatever. And what that turned into is, okay, well, you write one script and you never quite finish that, and you have another idea, you start that, and that you never quite finish that, and then you find the one that you're going to produce. So then you start writing that, and you start to rewrite that. Testing 1 2.
So did it record anything we just talked about?
No, it did. It did for a good majority of it, I think. Okay. What were we talking about a second ago?
Yeah, no, we're good. That's why I'm here. The host makes sure everything stays on track.
Okay.
So we were talking about when it doesn't work well, when the method doesn't work well, and you were saying that you were noticing a common issue is that people
just aren't the right people.
Yeah, the people who are there for their own interests, which makes sense. If you're there for your own interests, which if you're in that type of film environment where you have to look out for your own interests to survive, then that's the default that they would go to when coming to Film Punks, because it's a completely different culture and a completely different way of trying to be successful. You also mentioned how it seems like the people who do get into Film Punks, which is good in a way that they're good enough to go to like Atlanta or LA to pursue more in filmmaking, but also shows the bad side, which is the film market here is not there yet. I know there's some efforts to try to attract people here. Like I know there's the director from the Blair Witch who is doing a project here.
Let's talk about that.
Oh, okay.
But hold on. So as far as people who leave Film Punks, there are two, I feel like, right? Some people leave, they're just not right for the group. Some people want to go and try something else in LA and stuff. The people who I feel like are the most successful are the ones who keep themselves busy creating stuff, right? The people who leave to go to LA or whatever to try and find work, I don't see that they're actually getting it, you know? So, and some people just leave Film Punks and they try to, find work here, and it's just there's really no work here. The best thing that you can do in this market, I feel like, is create stuff. That's what Film Punks thinks. That's what Tampa Film Network thinks. But yeah, I think that you just need to be busy creating things to get better, to get noticed. It's not just one little way to become successful in the film industry. You need to draw attention. You need to draw eyes, and you have all kinds of tools and stuff.
Yeah.
So, it's not just a market, dude. I think people just have the wrong mindset. People here act like they're in LA, and they're not creating. They're looking for auditions. Some of them are getting auditions, but how far ahead is that $500 commercial with unlimited usage to use that image of yours until the end of time? How far is that going to get you? You get another line of your resume, you get $500. Not going to pay your bills unless you're one of the better, more people who are booking stuff all the time, but it's not getting you closer to. Most people want to be in the big motion pictures. They want to be in the big movies, be Academy Award winning actors and stuff. That's not getting you there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not most people. I don't see anyone who's really being successful at it. I think you've got to be busy creating novel ideas of yourself. If you're an actor, you should be on YouTube creating characters all the time, hoping that somebody out there is like, maybe they're on whatever they've got, whatever kind of TV show. Like, man, that chick is funny. What's this? She's got a whole bunch of views, or this video has gone viral. We can get that on our show. Let's call her, see who her agent is, or something like that. I feel like people should be busy doing that stuff. So I think it's just a mindset, really. I think there's a reason a lot of people are in this market. It's because they wouldn't really be successful in another market either. And I think they know that. And it's not because they're not talented. I just think it's just really hard. There are a lot of people trying to do what you're trying to do. Why should you do it? Why should you get the opportunity or get the success and not somebody who's just like you? What's different about you? What are you doing differently? And there's not enough people doing stuff differently. So that's all that is. As far as, dude, drawing attention to Tampa, trying to get the market to rebound, a lot of that stuff, man, a lot of the barriers to that is money and politics and taxes and stuff. I don't think people should be focused on that either. Some people think that, Florida would be this great destination if there were tax incentives to bring the big productions here. I don't think so. We had tax incentives for a while, or at least in some form, and it brought some production, but I don't like the attitude of the people who come in, man. I mean, the people who come in on those tax incentives, it's like they're trying to save as much money as possible on their productions. That's why they go to the place with the best tax incentives. I get that. That makes sense if you're the business person, if you're the studio who's investing millions and stuff. But for us, why are we doing their bidding? You know what I mean? I tend to side with the thinking that, you know what, if people don't want to come here because the taxes aren't low enough or whatever, let them stay out. Because I feel like there are a lot of things that Florida has to offer in terms of unique locations that can be used, unique filming opportunities that even Floridians just brush off to the side and overlook and take for granted. And if we don't have anyone to compete with, that's a good thing. As far as me personally, as far as Film Punks has kind of had that view, it's better that we don't have anyone to compete with. Sure, it'd be nice for people to have work, but there are issues with, okay, well, there's a reason the tax program failed. How many productions did it bring back? How much work did it bring? How much did it affect the local economy? You know what I mean? We don't really have any crew. Florida, they fly their crew in, and it's like, well, there are some opportunities, but it's like, and some people had some good opportunities as actors to be on some productions that came here because of the tax incentives, but it's like, it's not as simple as some people who want the tax program. It's not as simple as, they would like to portray it. There's a reason it failed. I don't really want to get into it, but I like to focus on what you can definitely do. I don't want to focus on, like, what are we going to do to get the tax program back? That's an uphill battle. It's not mine to fight. It would be nice to have some work, some options for people. But what's more realistic is the work that I could be doing with Tampa Film Network. So I tend to focus on what can we do without tax credits that everyone else needs, without money, without whatever that everyone else needs. We can offer an acting program for free, and we do that. We can have a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We have this.
Mm-hmm.
Are you being paid? Does
with,
Tampa Film Network pay you to do this podcast?
With support of TJ. No, I do not.
I don't get any money. You know, the people who teach acting classes don't get any money. I teach acting classes. You know, and we've got the writer's room. Mm-hmm. How are we doing this without money? You know, not everything is about money. Not everything is about having, you know, everything that everyone else has. Sometimes you got to look at what you can do and try to do that as well as you can do it. So, you know, that's why I feel like if you've got the right attitude, you do have a lot of resources at your disposal. We've got a place to hold acting classes. We've got an auditorium. We've got a place to screen everything that we make, you know. And it's just a matter of using it. It's just a matter of not overlooking things. So I think it's an attitude problem. It's the biggest problem for people who are trying to get into the film industry who are stuck in Tampa. It's mostly an attitude problem. It's mostly a problem of not taking advantage of opportunities that you have, you know, and just old thinking. Old thinking, it's not going to help you. You're an actor. The old thinking is, well, you want to be an actor? Take an acting class. Get yourself an agent. You know, they'll find you work. A lot of people have agents around here, and they're not getting work. You know, you got to go up to Georgia to get some work, and that's okay. That's well and good. But that's not steady for a lot of people. You know, you got to be engaged with your own projects. For me, the new thinking is, all right, you do all that. You do everything you can do. Get some education, refine your skills, get an agent. Outside of that, who are you working with? What are you creating? You know, what are you writing? What are you filming? Are you putting new videos up on YouTube with new ideas with you in character? Are you putting yourself out there? There are things that you can do that you don't have to depend on other people to do. Even if you don't have all the abilities to maybe put yourself on YouTube. Maybe you don't have a camera. There are people in the area who have a camera. They just don't have a script. There are people who have script. They don't have a camera. There are people who have all those things and don't have actors. Get together with a group, you know? That's all Film Punks is. That's all Tampa Film Network is. It's just the effort to put people together who have some of what they need, but not everything. And together, you have what you need to start to do something. You got to have an attitude that is, you know, because when you're working with a group, you can't just say, okay, now that we got all these resources together, let's do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? People are like, wait, what? That doesn't work. No, you got to do things that are good for everyone.
Okay.
And that, in turn, will be good for you.
Right.
So.
That makes sense. So he's got the baselines to create, which I honestly have to keep doing that because I realize the type of person I am is a dreamer. So I'll start on like all these projects but I won't finish anything. What would be your advice for someone like me? Because a lot of people are dreamers. They like to create things, but when it comes to projects, they never finish it. And they get involved in too many things, and they're spread thin.
If you're involved with too many things, you need to be involved with less things.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of... I know that's not very helpful. But you may need to narrow your focus. I think one of the best things you can do as a dreamer, somebody with vision, goals, creative ability, maybe involved with a lot of things. First of all, you need a good group of friends. You need somebody who's going to help you see the things that you could be doing better. You need those people around you. That's what Film Punks does for me and Tampa Film Network. It brings people with similar mindsets closer together. And in Film Punks' case, you live together. And that way you've got someone to continuously push you every single day to be the best that you can be. And the things that you're doing wrong that you may not see, those people can point that out. So you need to get the right people around you. You need to start to build up a nice little creative circle, and you need to be active in that circle. You need to be talking to the people who have that same desire, goal as you, trying to figure things out. You need to be working with those people. You know what I mean? Don't just be like, well, we're friends. We both do filmmaking. I got my project. You've got your project and stuff. You know, if you don't got your project going and it's actually getting done, go ahead and just get on their project. Make it both your project. You know what I mean? Get on the train that's moving. You know, and make sure that it's a train that will, you know, cater to everyone's needs. So if you need to be in a project, you need to be creatively invested. Do a project where you are as important in that project as the other person, even if it was their idea to begin with. Well, now it's your idea plus me. And I bring the things that I bring to it. And then we've got Alan or whoever else is involved with the thing. And make it so that it works for everyone and get that done. And then once you're good at doing things with the help of other people, maybe then you can split off and do things that are more reliant on you. And maybe you just have a little help from other people. They're helping you with your thing if you want to go that direction, if you feel like you're ready for that. A lot of people don't feel like are ready for that. A lot of people can get their projects done, but the quality isn't something like, it ain't going to compete with somebody who's in Hollywood, even if they had their same equipment and stuff as you. It's a lot of stuff is just more well done than local. So, and that's not because people can't or don't have the talent. It's just you're putting all your eggs in the wrong baskets. You're depending too much on individuals, and you're not spending enough time on the things you need to spend time on. And it's hard to even know what any of that means. It's hard to even know, well, how do you know what you're doing wrong? Well, your friends who are your equals will tell you. If your friends are just your employees, they will not tell you. They will tell you everything you want to hear. Or if your friends are just people who are involved with your project because they need an IMDb credit, they're just going to tell you enough to make sure that they've done their job and they have their credit and the project actually exists, so that when you look it up online, oh, well, at least it was done. Well, it was crap, but I had a credit. You know? So, yeah. Film, man, it's a bitch to do. It really is.
Sounds like the center is the people that you're involved with.
It's the people, and it's more complicated. It's the society that you build for a project. It's the community that you build to complete a project. That's a very complicated thing when you don't have money. When you don't have money to kind of stabilize everything, it's hard to compete with anything that does.
Got you.
Not because of money, but because of people willing to do what's best for the project.
Well, I think it is possible. You just have to have people that are diehard believers in what you're doing, which is a hard thing to come across or create. I mean, you can even think about, many people know this, was it the Warner Brothers? The brothers who flew the first airplane. Was it the Warner Brothers or was someone else?
The Wright Brothers.
Wright Brothers, sorry. Yeah, Warner Brothers, I'm thinking film.
Yeah.
But the Wright Brothers, I'm reading a book, and the author was comparing the Wright Brothers to another individual who the United States actually paid to figure out how to create a flying vehicle.
Samuel Pierpont Langley?
Yeah, okay. I think so. Yeah. And what was interesting is they gave him the factory, they gave him the best minds and research, they gave him the money, and they gave him the time to complete the projects. The only thing the Wright brothers had was their garage and a motor and some supplies. And what was interesting was not that, because of course the Wright brothers created the plane, they were to fly it. And we all know how they crashed it several times, and then they did it until they were successful. We all know that. But the interesting point I got from it was after they flew the plane, he quit. The other guy quit. But he could have. But the thing is, okay, it's like, yeah, of course he quit. I mean, he was trying to be number one, but he could have improved the designs. Maybe he could have reached out to them. He could have, he still could have tried to complete it. But his main motivation was to be the first person to create flight. And since he was not that, he stopped doing it altogether. And I think that is the type of mindset that may come into filmmaking. And if people don't have creative ownership in it, or maybe they're not going to get an Academy Award, or there's nothing that's going to give them status, maybe wealth, then they're simply saying they'll write off. Okay, I'm only going to do it for me. I only do it for the credit, and then it becomes kind of vague or cold. Their heart is not into it. So, and I think one of the reasons when the Wright Brothers were successful, they had a dream. You know, of course, they were brothers, so they supported each other, and then they were able to accomplish that vision with what they had, not what with what they had, which was enough to get it there.
One of the most important things they had, though, you know, is everyone around them believed in their vision.
Yeah.
They knew what their vision was, and they knew how to tell it to other people. And that's kind of one of the challenges that groups who try to form locally struggle with, too, is trying to figure out what is their vision. Like, a lot of times they don't have a vision. They just kind of have a goal. Oh, we want to make films. Great. Everyone does, you know? What's your vision, though? Why do you want to make films and things like that? And so it's like when you're trying to put people together, one of the things that I've learned with working with Film Punks and Tampa Film Network is you really do need to know what your vision is, and you need to be able to vocalize it and communicate it to people. You need to be able to tell people what it is that we're all doing, like what it is we're trying to build, what's the future that we're trying to bring into existence. Without that, you know, there's really no reason anyone should be working with you other than over anyone else who has better resources than you do, who have better things to offer than you. But if you get people who believe in what you believe in, then it's kind of like loyalty versus, since we're talking business, loyalty versus repeat business, right? A repeat customer is somebody who will buy something from you more than once. A loyal customer will buy something from you for as long as they believe in what you believe in, even if they can get a better deal somewhere else. Like
you actually use gear. Camera gear is probably an example.
Yeah,
Die
like
Hard,
Canon people.
Sony, yeah.
Canon people, man, they're like, I'm Canon, fuck Nikon, fuck Black, all that, fuck Sony, I'm Canon. Until a lot of you motherfuckers went to Sony. But it's like that, or like Apple people, or like Windows people.
Apple.
Dude.
I think Apple is the best example, because I remember I used to work at a place called Abercrombie and Fitch.
They are the best example.
And when the iPhones came out, I had never seen it. People have lines. I never seen that with any other company. They have lines
outside
waiting
the store.
Outside the store, and they'd be out there early. I get to work, and they're there before me. It's Black Friday, and I've never seen that. But Apple created a culture, and I think they did it partly. They did it really good with their products, because as you know, their products. A lot of people who are developers and programmers, they don't like Apple products because they're very
they're inferior
connected.
in a lot of ways.
Yeah, they're inferior, but they're also interconnected. It's not that much. It's very hard to edit them. Like for instance, a lot of things I saw my girlfriend with her iPhone, she couldn't do that my Android could do. Like look at the files and all that stuff, and you can do like a whole bunch of different stuff with the Android phone.
Yeah.
But Apple did a good thing. They made it. I mean.
They made it more about simplicity.
Extremely user friendly for people to use, and they created a cult following. I mean, it was amazing just to watch those people waiting in line. Even when I always look at that YouTube video, the first iPhone. People are like, ooh, and they're swiping the phone on the screen and stuff like that.
It's like, you can use your finger? What? Because people were used to the PDAs. You got the buttons and shit. I was one of those people. But yeah, man, the touchscreen changed everything. The finger changed everything. The app
The app changed everything. But even today, people still, those $150 earphones, I was like, no one's going to buy them. There's no way.
Oh, yeah,
but
they
now
will.
You see people,
if there's a product, there's somebody to buy it.
But that's what happens. And I think in today, with so much competition going on, and with so many people doing the same thing as you're doing, some people are not doing as good, some people are doing it as good, and some people are doing it better than you. You got to tap into the emotional side of people you're working with, because everyone can tap into money, and they can tap into credits. You got to find something that people believe in. Just because nonprofits have been doing it for years. Churches, religions, heck, even Scientology, they've all done it. They've all done it for years. Just creating a following where people believe in the cause, believe in the vision of the film that you're doing. And I think once that's set, everything else would be a lot easier. Yeah.
You know, with Writer's Room, for those who don't know, it's the screenwriters program for Tampa Film Network.
Yeah, make sure we insert that.
Not a big deal. Not a big deal.
No.
No other group has one. I think some other groups have it, but one of the things that we tell screenwriters is write something that you like. Write a genre that you really are passionate about. Don't just write something that you feel like it's going to be successful. Write something you have passion for, because as you're putting in the time that it takes to get this done, to get this story designed, to get it all organized and stuff, something's got to carry you from the beginning to the end, because you don't know if that's going to be. It's definitely not going to be a week. If it's really worth it, you're going to put a lot of time into it. That passion is what's going to get you there. So it's like I always tell people, write something that you feel passionate about, man. Don't write something for money right now. Write something that you really believe in. And who's to say that because you really focus on something you really like and you really put all your talent into it, that's not what separates it from everyone else and gets it noticed, and and everybody else who takes notice wants to work with you now because your vision is so clear. They see you're so passionate. They want to be a part of that too. They have a similar vision. That's what I feel like is another thing people struggle with, is just figuring out who they themselves are, their own identity. One thing is you got to be honest with yourself. Do the shit you like to do, and just if you're trying to get people on board with what you're trying to do, figure out what it is you're trying to do, why you're doing it, and try to communicate that to people. Talk to people. It's like, hey, this is what I believe in. This is why I believe in what I believe in. And sometimes maybe just your idea sucks, and that's why people don't want to do it. But that's better than getting people to join under false pretenses or whatever. And you think you have an invested partner, or you're an invested individuals in your project, and they're not doing their best work. They're dragging their asses, which is going to create more work for you, and which is going to probably end in failure if it's film. You can't make a film by yourself. You can, but you can't. Not the one you want to make. Right. So focus on what you're really passionate about. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with people. And that's a big foundational step right there.
So we got a couple minutes left. I wanted to touch on two things.
Oh yeah, updates.
Updates, but not just that. I want to.
You got an admin sitting in front of you.
One thing I do want to make sure before we get to the updates, you said you had a comment about the director from the Blair Witch Project coming here.
No, not really. I think that fits into kind of how I feel about people from outside the state coming in and using our locations and shit. That's okay. I don't care. Use whatever your location you want. If you're willing to come here and film, use whatever location you want. It's really, I feel like the people who are here not filming, not using these locations, are the ones who are really wasting what Florida has to offer. And it's just, they just don't see the beauty, man. They just don't see it in their own neighborhoods, in their own places that they go on their way to work. They don't see all these locations that could be used, locations that kind of look Florida-y and just look kind of unique. Or maybe they don't look unique. Maybe it looks like some place in the middle of fucking Omaha. Who cares? But you're not doing anything, It's people who just have the opportunity and don't take advantage of it. But go ahead, yeah. So Blair Witch Project. I haven't kept up with it. I've been super busy. But is he making another one? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's just the director from it.
He just said he just had a project. It's just the director from it. Okay. Yeah, that was the title.
I think there was a Kevin Smith thing that one of the local companies, Digital Caviar, I think it's doing something with, or they've done something with Kevin Smith recently. I don't remember. But I know a couple things happened locally, but I haven't been able to keep up. Okay.
Well, let's go to the updates. What are some updates you want to tell about the Tampa Film Network?
What do you want to know?
Just for users who are interested in filmmaking, are filming, or people that want to get involved, or just just in general.
Well, this is just going to be targeted at Tampa Film Network, to people who are in it, and people who may be interested in being involved with Tampa Film Network. So, for those who do not know, Tampa Film Network, since the beginning, has been basically a resource for you to network with other people who are local Tampa aspiring filmmakers. These could be actors, these could be directors, these could be camera people, lighting people. All it is, or all it was in the beginning, was a Facebook group where you come and you network and hopefully you collaborate. So recently and up until now, we've basically been expanding beyond just a networking opportunity to where we actually have created programs. So like we created the acting program, the acting class, so now we offer free acting classes. And we've got a couple different programs going. So acting is one, the podcast is another, the writer's room for screenwriters. And we've kind of been keeping it in the community so that the screenwriters are writing things for the acting class to act out. The crew for Tampa Film Network is filming things for Tampa Film Network. It's all kind of focused, the community, kind of all the sectors help each other. What's coming up is basically we're going to redefine our mission to basically not be focused at all really on networking. In other words, people who want to join Tampa Film Network for the purpose of just connecting with other people for networking purposes. Maybe you just want to know other actors. Maybe you need some people for your project. For things that are not directly beneficial for Tampa Film Network, we're no longer going to be focusing on that. So if you want just to network and not really contribute to the community, what we're trying to do basically with creating new short films and new material for Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube, and well, it gets shared to Facebook. But we're basically becoming more of an active, creative group than just a networking utensil. We've got all kinds of resources for people who are in Tampa Film Network, but we're no longer going to be focusing and defining ourselves as a networking group. So what we are going to define ourselves as, and we're still kind of working on the language, it's going to come up real soon, as we're basically a independent filmmaking community. So if you are a aspiring filmmaker, actor, crew person, producer, whatever, and you're in Tampa, and you don't have the opportunity to be a part of other projects right now, but you need to do something, you can join Tampa Film Network and do something. Not join Tampa Film Network and see what people post, not join Tampa Film Network and share your stuff with other people, but join Tampa Film Network and do something. That's the whole point. So it's kind of like Film Punks requires everyone to be creatively invested or involved with the project. We will require people to be creatively contributing to the community in some way. If you're an actor, that means you act in Tampa Film Network's projects, right? That means you can come to class and you can learn new techniques. We're a free class, but we're not a waste of time. We definitely have good, usable classical acting techniques that I feel like are really good, and you're getting something when you come there to our class. There's a reason people keep coming. So you come, you learn, and then you use what you learn. If you're a screenwriter, you come, you join Tampa Film Network. We've got the writer's room is now going. So you can start to write. You can start to create. And what you're directing that at is creating for Tampa Film Network. You're helping the community. You're using your skills, and you are creating stuff. But you're creating something that other people can also benefit from. People who are in the same position as you, who want to be active and get themselves out there. It's just directed at helping the group, which in turn helps you back, So at this level, basically everyone needs to be active. They need to be getting IMDb credits. So being in a Tampa Film Network project means you're active. You're getting an IMDb credit. Everything we do is credited. And even in the acting class, even before the writer's room, we've been doing improv, and we filmed it. One of the games we play is Park Bench in class. We basically filmed Park Bench like the last couple of weeks. We went to a park, And we filmed park bench scenes where they basically, there's one normal person on the bench, and then some weirdo comes up and they just annoy them until they leave. So we've been filming scenes. These can go on your demo reels as actors, you know what I mean? But it helps the community because now we have content, and now we can kind of build it. We can build an audience for ourselves, and we've got this basically community that helps us. So basically that's the main new thing, other than the fact that we are expanding programs. So we have acting, the podcast, the writers group, and pull up on the website. What's the new thing? We added something else. I'm involved with most of them, but I mean, I easily lose track of stuff. But you get the idea. We're also starting the editing thing. So all the projects that we're shooting, well, they got to be edited by someone, right?
Can I pull up on here?
Yeah, you can. Internet Explorer or something.
It's on the bottom. Hold on a second. Oh, there it is.
Is that a Firefox update on the screen?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the mirror here.
Yeah, I clicked on it.
Can you cut that off? Like that's going to mess with the recording.
Yeah. How do do you have a task manager? I can shut it down?
Don't shut it down. Just like either right click the icon. You're going to have to hit the arrow to go up, I guess.
Wait.
So that you can.
I can't see anything.
I didn't even know Firefox was on a computer.
Sticky notes? Okay, there you go. Exit. Close to tabs. Awesome. All right.
There you go.
Let's go to Tampa Film Network.
TampaFilmNetwork.org. For those listening who don't know the website, it is TampaFilmNetwork.org. The main page shows you all the new stuff happening with Tampa Film Network. But so we've got the programs that we've been adding one by one. They're for the purpose of so that we create our own projects now. But
sorry, I'm having trouble understanding right now. Please try a little later.
Is that Alexa? Alexa.
Is that me or you?
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding right now.
I can't tell. Anyways, what was I saying just now? So we got the expanding programs, and that's the main new thing is we're going to make it clear that our goal is to be an active filmmaking community. So, and you're going to have to be agreeing to be active to even join the Facebook group now. So they have it on Facebook where you have to acknowledge the questions or whatever. One of the questions we ask is, all right, so did you read the description, the group description? And, do you know the rules and you're not going to break the rules? You agree to that. Second thing is, have you signed up on TampaFilmNetwork.org, the roster, so you can be involved with the community and participate in projects? Because you have to participate in projects to be involved with Tampa Film Network now. We're no longer a networking resource. Of course, by being in these projects, you're networking with people, but that's not the primary motivation for Tampa Film Network anymore. Now, since we've got the membership, we've got these people and they don't have opportunities, we really had to direct our efforts at somehow creating opportunities. So that started with the classes, and then people were like, well, I still can't find auditions and I'm learning things but I can't use this. So then we started okay, well, let's create our own projects. We've got people with cameras, we've got resources, why not use them? So now that we've been doing that, we figured out, okay, so now we've begun projects. Why aren't we finishing them? And it's well, not all our resources are directed at finishing the project. So now one of the things that we want to do is cut down the noise. And to a large degree, I feel like we've done that really successfully with our group. You know how in those groups when you go on Facebook, all these different networking groups,
they got a lot of stuff posting content.
They've got all kinds of shit. People are always posting, watch my new film. My shit's available at Walmart. My shit's available on Amazon. Go and, pay $9.99 to watch my film or whatever. They're always sharing stuff, man. And it's nothing but advertising. People advertising at each other. Rarely do I go in one of these groups and find a project that somebody's posted. Hey, I'm working on this new story idea. I could really use, some help writing it. If any of you guys like crime genre, hit me up. Let's see what we can do. Efforts to collaborate, not just share your stuff with an audience or get views or likes and stuff. That's why in our group we made it clear you cannot post things just to post them. You've got to want to collaborate or truly network. This is not a billboard where you put your stuff up just to be seen. And our feed looks way better than every other group, And I think every other group can see it because we're public. We're not a closed group right now. But we might be changing that too. We're still talking about that. But yeah, so that's the new thing. And we're making it clear that we're focused on being an active filmmaking community. And we're focused on creating opportunities for everyone in our group. And as long as you're in the group and contributing, you will be getting experience, credit, things that you can actually use in your career, and this will help you. And some of us believe this can actually lead to paid work with Tampa Film Network. We're not paid now, but the sky's the limit. That's all I want to say about that. Some of us are thinking about, the possibility of getting sponsors and once we can prove that we have a following and things like that, there are ways to get people paid. And I feel like we've got the right talent to get content made. I feel like some of the people in the acting class are so talented at creating characters, and they basically just need an outlet. Like, they need an audience. First of all, they need to be active in doing it and being told that, hey, your ideas are good. Keep creating your ideas. Keep auditioning for stuff, but keep creating shit, And you can use those on auditions. Keep creating. That's what we tell. And we'll use it. Since we have access to the talent, access to the ideas, we'll use it for our projects. And I feel like that's going to get us somewhere, because that's all we're focused on right now. We're not focused on money. You're not getting paid, but you are being encouraged and given the opportunity to create, and you're being surrounded with other people who are going to do that, and other people who are just selfish, who are just, coming to have their stuff seen or don't want to really contribute to the community. We're going to make sure that those people are not, distracting everybody. Those people are kept out. There are plenty of other groups that offer what you want to do, but we want to offer or be one of the only groups that offers this active participation and stuff in film projects. So that's our new focus. Is we're just going to cut out all the networking stuff where everyone gets into film network and stuff, and we're going to make sure that everyone who joins wants to participate, wants to do something. So that's the new thing with that.
Awesome.
And just to update everyone on Good Friends, we're working on it. We're trying to finish the edit. It's looking good. It's sounding good. It's just going to take time, and just be patient. So if you were in that project, I'm really pleased with how it's looking. I haven't been able to 100% take a hand in helping with the editing because I've been busy with another thing at my job, but I'm kind of getting into that now. I'm kind of more focused on the short scenes that we've been doing with acting class. So I've been doing the editing for the most part by myself with that. And that's kind of what I'm focused on. But we will finish Good Friends. That's Tampa Film Network's first short film. And all these little scenes that these actors have been doing great characters. Shout out to Sharon Withers and June and Chevy and Rafiq, who did the park bench scenes recently, and everyone who will be doing their park bench scenes. They've been doing really, really good work. The characters are entertaining. So, other than that, I can't think of anything right now, but I'll be back.
Good.
The people will see me in class.
Good. Well, this is wonderful getting to know you more better. I know we talked a little bit on the set of Good Friends. It's good to hear your background. A bit of a refresher and learn more about how you got involved with filmmaking and leading all the way up to being one of the admins for the Tampa Film Network. Until next time, we will bid you goodbye and thank you for listening.
thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. All the actors, I'll let you know when the next class is. Everyone else who's doing the other programs, the writers' room and whatnot, will be having an announcement pretty soon, and you will see an update to Tampa Film Network's group description and website, making clear the new direction for the community. But until then, I'm really happy to be working with everyone. I hope that we all have fun with the new stuff that we're going to be doing. And if you have any questions, you can always go to tampafilmnetwork.org, go to contact, send a message to the admins, or email us directly at Tampa Film Networks with the S at the end at gmail.com. And there's a phone number which no one is answering right now. It was being forwarded to my phone, but I recently had to disconnect my phone from that. It's too many issues coming up. But yeah, thanks.
All right, good.
This was fun. Any other things before you go? Any questions?
No, I think I'm good. I think I'm good to go.
All right, guys, get out there, get busy, create something, get to class. See ya.
The click stop recording.
Absolutely.